What? Jennie!
Thank you. Hello, Dan. I know. I feel like dancing like a Muppet now.
Gotta make the zoom. Gotta make the zoom zoom, baby.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
would like to first welcome everybody to an episode here at Elevated Entrepreneur. And today I have with me, and I'm so excited to have Dan Gillogly. Am I saying that
Gillogly.
right?
Yeah.
Gillogly.
Yes.
And the Dan the Piano Man. That's the easier
Yes.
way to remember, right?
That
So
works. Yep.
welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to have you on was to talk about what you do because, well, one, as an entrepreneur, you work for yourself now, but I would really like you to share a little bit like how that came to be because I know a little bit about your story now
Yeah.
and where you weren't working for yourself, you were working, I guess, for companies or
Yeah.
maybe it was under the umbrella. I don't know. If you could just share your kind of journey into what you do now.
Well, I'm just a whore for the music industry is the way I'd like to look at it. I'll put out
Yeah,
if they're signing a check, I'll say yeah. And
right.
I got, I learned to play piano first, and then I said, oh, I get paid more if I sing. I'm like, oh, I think I'll learn how to sing. And then that took a while. I was like, okay, well, I better take some lessons. And then I did, then I figured out, oh, I don't have to sing that well if I learn how to entertain. So I learned how to like break that fourth wall. And for many years, I was just kind of like the side man or the guy behind the scenes, the writer, producer. But then when I went out and became a headline entertainer, it was like, now it clicked for me. And so I did that for a good solid 30 years before everything changed in 2020. So, and
Yeah, right. So you were like going, I know you're from Chicago, right? So start me there. What are you doing in Chicago? Because like you're saying music industry, that's very nebulous. Like what were you doing?
yeah, it's a good town. It's a good hub. I grew up in the suburbs and then wound up. Chicago is a great hub of eclectic music, of jazz and blues and rock and salsa and reggae and all this stuff was going on. But we had a very vibrant recording session scene. Like years ago, there was this Muzak thing. It was General Overhead Music. Yeah, remember Muzak?
I remember music. I'm laughing. I'm like, I remember music in all the elevators. Yeah.
Yeah, and all the kids are like, "What's Muzak? I don't understand." You have it on your phone. Yeah, just you're paying for it now. And so I
Right.
just kind of got into the sessions over there, like learning how to write parts. And then my teachers showed me how to arrange the parts. We'd have orchestras and bands and brass. And so I would just do all these commercials and sessions and things like that. And then I'd work at night and you'd hang out afterwards. So I really got ingrained in the community. And back then I just had no fear. I was like, I'm just gonna play music. That's what I'm gonna do. You
So
know?
it's kind of like if you grew up in Nashville and were into country, you were
Mhm.
just into what was going on musically in the Chicago area.
Yeah, and like any good city, if you know a guy, that's good. If you don't know a guy, you can get a guy, and that's what we did. So
Oh,
I,
okay, cool.
I would be a side man, and we did jobbing dates. So like, weddings where you just piece band together, and somebody wrote out all the charts, and you just follow it even after not rehearsing. And so then I landed a steady gig at the Second City, and that was only supposed to be like a 3 month fill-in for a tour date, and I wound up staying there for 10 years. Like what? Sure.
And then that happened.
And then from there, we did a lot of we did the cabaret. We started in the touring company, doing colleges, one nighters all over the country, and then I got the resident gig where we stayed and we wrote a show in the cabaret, and then from there we expanded to doing what they called industrials, which was corporate parties and corporate events. You would write for the product rollout or the trade show, and then from there, like I didn't do that. I didn't strike out on my own doing that, but I had that in my brain. So many years later, that's what I did as an entertainer. I would go write a bunch of jokes and sing a couple songs that were really kind of catchy, and they catch in your ear, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, you're so good!" And I'm like, "This isn't really music. This is entertainment. This isn't."
Yeah. So you were like a one man show, like you would like a comedian,
I
like
would,
you get
yeah,
up
I would
and
do.
just do a thing.
Yeah, Second City was all comedy. It was based in comedy, so I worked with Adam McKay and Chris Farley and Steve
I was
Colbert.
gonna
Steve,
say Second City, I know of, right? Because
I'm
yeah.
All those guys, those
Okay.
yeah, and then the alum were really super helpful. Like I got to know Dan Aykroyd and just hang out with him. We just go to the blues bars and hang out all night.
How cool is that?
Yeah, now I got street cred. I'm hanging with the blues brother, you know.
Yeah.
With the
Oh,
guy,
wow.
we were just
That's
hanging
very
out.
cool.
So I did
Very,
that for
very
about 2 years.
cool.
And then, but I also got from there, I got into the radio and television, and it was great because you would do an episode, it would air on an affiliate. You would have maybe 96 affiliates. You maybe do 12 seconds worth of music for a 23-minute show, and you get $1 per
Yeah.
affiliate. And I had
Wow.
96 affiliates, and we had 5 nights, 5 shows a night, or 5 shows.
Wow.
And so I was like, cool, I'm getting a house in Malibu. Awesome. And then the show got canceled. And I was like, oh, come on.
Oh.
Bones, you know. So,
Wait, so how long did that last for? I mean, enough that you had a little nest egg from it,
yeah,
or
yeah, I did. I
okay.
did
So
okay.
that's great.
Yeah.
It would be a bummer if it was only like it was like up here and then a year later, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much the music business. Yeah. You can
Yeah.
make it a lot of money and then boom, you're done. But that was all on residuals. Now, as the things continue to change, my residuals on streaming are nothing. That's what the writers are on strike for right now because they don't make any money on a streaming thing. We don't make any money on Spotify. Everybody out there is doing it, is doing on touring. So I did what everybody else did. I would tour with a band or I would do a headline
Oh
thing.
my
And
gosh, that's why all those people are touring now.
yeah,
Oh, I was just talking about this with my sister because she's so excited. I'm gonna see the psychedelic first. I'm gonna like naming all these, the Cure, and I'm like, how old, how old are these, how old are these people now?
yeah.
But
And those
it
guys are
makes
all friends of
sense.
mine. So, and it's a group.
Wow.
Yeah, Mars, the sax player, is a good friend of mine. He still lives in town. But then he would also take that money gig and then do a lot of really experimental jazz and free bop and things like that. And he would like set up a residency in Europe. So for me, I did my corporate gigs. I would write funny songs and then I would go hang out in Barcelona for a while and just play blues or play the jazz, with the Argentinians or something. So it's a really good life. It all changed in March of 2020.
Yeah.
Now I have to figure out who I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah. It's funny how that question comes around more often than
Yeah.
people are led to believe. When you're in your 20s, you think you just got to do it once, and it's like, oh no. You
Yeah.
will do it over and over again. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's not universal. A lot of people,
It feels like it
I
is.
don't know them, but I've heard there's a lot of people that start something and just keep doing it until they don't do it anymore. But everyone I know has had several different total expressions of yourself in different venues, different careers, different, or it's similar. But so you've done all kinds of music. But I do know because I was listening to you talk, and we were talking about writing jingles, which made me laugh because I think that's you have to be so clever to write jingles. It's not just music. Like you have to put the lyrics like have to be catchy.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you have anything to say about that? Because I just find that fascinating. I don't
It
know.
is.
To me, it's just the talent that's like crazy. It's like marketing,
Hmm.
but it's like music,
Hmm.
putting them together.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And I did learn from some really good lyricists, and it is like a jigsaw puzzle. So like the one I played for you on the show earlier today, the I'm so lucky. She gave me the mantra, and I just broke it up. I broke it up musically, and I added a couple lines. Like she gave me the mantra, and I just added one, and this repeats, and now we got the hook. What's the thing that's going to stick in their ear? What's the hook that you want? It's usually a 3 or 4 word hook. Um,
Yeah.
and
Which I
then
like brain candy better than brain worm, but just saying.
ear candy, yeah, ear
Ear
candy,
candy. Ear
ear
candy.
candy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's easier. It's a little less sticky. I don't know. The idea was that and it's got to be 30 seconds. Like we used to have to do like you'd have to make your point in 30 seconds, but you have to leave a little hole in the middle so the narrator could do their thing.
Right.
So there was all kinds of interesting ways to do it, and we were working live bands back then, so it was all direct to tape. Now I feel like, oh my God, this is awesome. I can do anything I want in this studio, in this digital studio. It's so much fun.
So you're
Like,
feeling the freedom.
oh, I love it. And, it's like, okay, what do I want to do? So in my quiet times, I keep asking myself that. Where does the music go next? I can perform, not really having the drive to get up and go back out on a cruise ship. I did that for 2.5 years as a head,
Mm,
grueling work, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I just
yeah.
met people from all over the world, played with great entertainers and met great entertainers, like all the dancers and singers and comedians and it was a hoot, but I don't, it's like, okay, what do I want to do next? So I'm looking at the studio as the next avenue of like, oh yeah, I like the studio. Let's write something fun. Let's
Right.
people get their message out and let's offer some healing as well. Like I'm kind of like, let's see where that
I
goes.
was going to say, I found when you played, I forget what you call ambient music.
Yeah.
Um, so appealing. Energetically, it just draws you in. And you were saying like this is for your heart chakra. Like I, of course, get into all that stuff, but I think even people don't realize what it's doing. It's still doing it. So that
That's what music does. It's like, okay,
mm,
so take an artist. You got to paint the picture. You got to look at it to be able to experience it. Okay, a sculpture. You got to make the sculpture. You got to look at it to be able to, or if you're blind, you can touch a sculpture. You can feel the sculpture to be able to experience it. With music, you don't have to look at it. You cannot touch it.
yeah,
But everybody who can hear it is experiencing it. And even those who don't hear that well can still experience it. That's how deep music is. You can get the sonic waves in your chest if you do it right. And that's what's so interesting to me is that you
yeah.
don't really have a choice how you respond to it. If it's happy music, you probably feel happy. If it's sad music, it might resonate with your sadness. And that doesn't, you don't really get a choice. That's why people love Sweet Caroline. I don't know why, but that's why. That,
Because we all like to go dun 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 dun.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody likes to participate.
Yes, yes, that's what, and that's cool. I did a lot of sing along with people and breaking that fourth wall and having a blast with folks and bringing them together and ending the night with an arm in arm moment with people. But I don't feel like marketing that anymore. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
if
So do
somebody
you?
calls, I'll do it. But
Well, I know that you have, right, and I know that you have a YouTube channel, and the name of that is Dan the Piano Man. Or
the Piano Man Dan, somebody else took Dan the Piano Man.
oh, how dare they?
Believe that?
No. So the Piano Man Dan. Okay,
My
the
middle.
Piano Man Dan.
I'm
What
so
is your
sensitive. That's why I drink.
yeah? What's your thought with that though? Because I saw that you were um kind of themed some shows like what was it coffee with like
Yeah, coffee with Dan. So I did that when I was in between ship contracts, and I'd come in and I'm like, I got a little bit of time off. What do I want to do? And I would wake up in the morning, do my quiet time, and then sit down at the piano and work something. I'm like, oh, I should record that. Okay, yeah, that was my. I had a great life. I'd just wake up and record something, and I was like, oh, let's share this. Click, boom. I was getting
okay,
three, four
yeah.
reviews on this thing, 700. It got up to 1,000. The pandemic came along. We figured out how to do Facebook Live. I was getting a bunch of views on that. And I
Hmm.
was doing music. People are still coming up to me going, "Oh man, that was so cool what you did during the pandemic. Thank you so much." And I'm like, "Hmm, why did I quit that? Oh yeah, it was really, really hard to keep going.
Was
I
it?
Yeah, I need that interaction with an audience as an entertainer. I
Yeah.
like synergy. So where did that's why I was like, what can I do to still offer that to people? Here's YouTube. I'll continue to put the links on Facebook. Is TikTok a thing for me? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out if my MySpace page is getting any views. So,
It's a good one. That's a very good one. Yeah. Um, I gotta think that you and TikTok would be a natural fit.
you're not the only one that said that. That's interesting.
Because people need a 30-second or however many seconds thing.
Mhm.
I mean, my biggest struggle with that is like all that I think and say, how do I shove it into this little thing, But because if I use a snippet, it's a little meaningless.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of work I need to do. Think about that. But with music, I think you can put a powerful punch in a 30-second thing
Yeah.
with or without lyrics. But you kind of need I mean, you're not asking for the help. I'm gonna I can't help myself. I'm going to just offer it anyway.
Oh, please do.
Um,
Please do.
and
I'm
to
open to
just,
all
I would
suggestions.
just suggest, yeah, well, I'm thinking people watching this, like, okay, so this is a really universal kind of for entrepreneurs right now. How do I get on TikTok and what am I doing? Right. And you listen to all these experts. So this is not listening to an expert on TikTok. I'm not an expert on TikTok, but I muse about like, okay, so what's the benefit, right, to people? And it's also got to be a mutual benefit to you. So for you to have the engagement you want from the audience, I got to think that you'd want to do something that requires some feedback, not just did you like that or not. It's got to have a point of view. Most channels and stations or whatever we tune into has a point of view that we're either reinforcing for our own point of view or we're learning
Nice.
from someone that has a point of view, right? So just to perform for performance sake, I think I had a client who played the piano, very niche space, and really struggled to get out of that in any meaningful way because they couldn't make that connection about how is this going to be interactive. It's such a performance thing. Like you appreciate it, we clap, and that's the exchange is done. That's not social media. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I should. I mean, you see comedians; they say funny things, and people like them, and you can become fan. You know, get fans
Mhm.
and followers. Or do you want to have authentic engage? I mean, you can have both, but some people end up having a bunch of fans, and they don't feel like they have any real connection because they just kind of performed to the. They got the like. They got the. That was great, or I love you, or anything, but they didn't get to take away, and there was no point of view, the reason why the person's watching, you know, an entertainment value. I'm just curious if you thought about that deeply yet, or what you would think is your point of view.
I do, and I've given it a lot of thought. Again, the marketer in me has not ended. I just don't feel like I want
The
to.
marketer in us never goes away.
It never does. I can't do a project without going, how am I going to market this? I'm like, you just hit record. Shut up about the marketing. Just enjoy the process. You know,
Right.
then and that's what the experiment. That's what I'm using this time to experiment. I released like a whole bunch of albums of piano instrumental music of just stuff I was writing. Just took, and then I'm going back and I'm going through all the Coffee with Dan and I'm putting them up on YouTube and repurposing them. What is my interaction? I, Coffee with Dan, here's music. My interaction is anxiety relief. You know,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, improve your depression, improve your mood. You know, and get the relief from the stress that we were all feeling. Everybody's gone through some sort of metamorphosis in this thing. It was nobody got off. You know, even people that weren't changed, they changed because everything around us has changed. And is it a spiritual growth that's happening, or is it a digging in of this is what I do and I'm going to do this? It doesn't matter. Music is allowed to allow us. It is. We are saying basically, oh, I like music, and and everybody will say they like a certain kind of music. They'll go, well, I like it when it goes boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom. That's I like that. You know, well, great. You've just named like 40,000 songs, and half of them are country, and the other was blues and rock, and
Yeah.
like so. Some people, I could still can't believe that some people actually think Bon Jovi is good, and I don't get it. You know, living on.
I personally like 80s alternative music, like The Cure. That's
Okay,
my that's my
great
speed.
bass player, man.
But if you put me live, any kind of music live, I
Yeah,
enjoy. I don't care what it is. I'm a huge country fan suddenly, or I'm a salsa fan. Like it doesn't matter if
oh
it's
my God,
live,
yeah.
I
The
am in
music
it,
is all over the
right?
map. Country
Yeah.
music,
But if
great.
I'm just putting something on Pandora, it's gonna be like
Mhm.
80s 80s alternative.
But what is that about going to a concert that really clicks for you? Like we all missed it. Is it the group? Is it the herd mentality? Is it the camaraderie of going, oh, we're all fans of this band? How
I
do we
think it's the
replicate that in
energy.
the digital world?
Yeah, I think it's the energy.
Yeah.
Because when you're it's like going into the city. I live in New York. I mean, I live in the suburbs, so I don't live in the city.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the
But
suburbs now too. I know what you're talking about.
so when I go into the city
Yeah.
and I'm around, just you just look around, there's people everywhere. You can literally feels like I feel an electrical current go through my body. It's charged, it charges, it feels like electricity is for me. I mean, I'm very sensitive, so I'm not saying this is how it
It is.
should be or is for everybody, but
It is. Yep.
that is what I get. And I don't go to many concerts because it's a lot for me to handle.
Hmm.
Um, but I so enjoy it. Like I look forward to them. And when I do go, I love it, but it's the energy from all the people.
Hmm.
I feel like we're just little, I don't know, we're little batteries that feed off each other or something.
Too. I think
And
so.
when there's the wall, like the digital thing, right? I know a lot of people who don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I personally like in talking to someone else
Mm-hmm.
is like heaven for me. If I have to sit and look at a camera, I'm like, what are we talking about?
What are we?
It's just me. I have so many thoughts and I can't channel them to anything, you know, and it's just painful and stupid, feeling. But when I'm talking to somebody, it's it charges me up. So I gotta think your music obviously charges people up when they listen to it,
Yeah.
whether it be in concert, in person, or being on screen.
Hmm.
You know, what I
So
saw today in a Facebook group, I felt like you should be like everybody needs Dan to come into their Facebook group and have do a segment.
yeah, a
like,
type five before the commercial. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like a little Dan segment to liven up the feed, because
Maybe
it
that's the
did.
niche we haven't discovered yet. Maybe just go on and be that guy. Boom.
Kind of like how when you're doing commercials, watching YouTube and this will stop and there'll be a commercial, but instead an intentional, no, now we're going to pause as a group and we're all going to listen to this.
Yes.
And maybe there's some feedback that comes from that. I don't know. I have no
Yes.
idea. I don't have any answers. I have loads of questions, but no answers.
That's the question I keep asking about social media. How does it play? So one of the things I did during the pandemic, and this was a challenge for me, and I took my list and I contacted all the business clients that I used to have and said, we're doing these shows. And I went out there and I was like, okay, I got to do the show. I got to do the show. I got to do the show. I got to amp myself up. Whereas opposed, I'm in a room or backstage, I can feel the people sitting. I can feel the 1,000 people. I can feel all that. I get to the moment of showtime, and boom, we hit it. And I get the afterglow after the show, and I'm just,
Yes.
oh, where's that? And then I'm sitting here in my bedroom studio that I painted specifically for this event. And now I'm sitting here going, I got to translate this somehow. So I'm still trying to figure out that equation as terms of TikTok. The one thing that I keep coming back to is piano lessons. It's still a niche that's really, really lucrative. And I think TikTok might actually work. But I'm an entertainer. I can do the piano. I've set up some piano lessons online. But now I'm also doing, where does that entertainment value come in when it's on our tiny little 4-inch screen? You know?
So you know what you're making me remind? It reminds me of like, have you ever? I can't remember the name of the company. It doesn't matter, but they have. I mean, there's more than one, but there's those companies where you teach English to like over in a foreign country, and what they do because it's all on video is they have their kid plop in front of the screen, and I had a few clients that actually did it right, and the training was how to maximize the space and how to be very animated and be
Mm-hmm.
like, hi, so, welcome. And, oh, ooh, and use a lot of your hands to fill up the screen and to
Yeah.
use a lot of your facial expressions exaggerated for that. And when I saw them showing me what they were required to do, it changed how even me now, I'm much more
Yeah.
will use my hands and stuff where I know
Yeah.
I didn't used to. I used to be like, oh, we're here having a conversation. And now I'm like, no, let's dance like Muppets.
Yeah.
Let's put life into what we're looking at. And I think if you're on a TikTok what is TikTok? Is it 30 seconds? Do you know?
It might be 15. I know the shorts on YouTube are either 15 or 60, and they did shorts on YouTube because they were trying to replicate TikTok. But in Google's infinite wisdom, they said, well, yeah, if you put a short on YouTube, you can't use it on TikTok because we don't want you
Oh,
to be able.
we own it. Right. Okay. So if you're thinking in terms of your 15-second stints.
Mhm.
And because I've seen you now on camera performing,
Mhm.
I think that you could, and then you overlay some text
Okay.
in your, like where you are right now, how I see you, see
Yeah.
how there's space right there. If you
Mhm.
had like, for example, I've seen someone messages you on the phone, and
Mhm.
you take a screenshot of that,
Yeah.
and then you post that screenshot so it looks like a text bubble
Yeah.
with a question, you know, like and you're speaking to the question. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you can get people to ask relevant things. This is not relevant, but for example, what's the difference between a C flat and a C, whatever
Yeah.
the not flat version of that is? And you would say, you'd read the question and then you'd form the answer,
Yeah.
and then you'd be like, and for more of this, and you
Yeah.
direct them,
Yeah.
always direct them to the one place where you want them to go. But like, I
Yeah. I
think
think
it, I think
I
it'd be fun to watch as well as listen to. That's what I got out of it. I think that's what I'm trying to say to you. And
yeah.
everyone watching, go watch Dan's YouTube channel. So you
Yeah.
get not just the music, but the performer.
Yeah. And that's what I tried to do with YouTube. I was like, oh, I can put up music and I put up video, and that was a paradigm that people, were saying, oh, this is really lucrative on YouTube. But I could, so like the rain video that I played earlier, it looks great, it feels good, it did the thing that I wanted it to do. But I took the old and Coffee with Dan because I wanted people to see that I'm actually playing, and then I added video into it. And so, like, I just released one this morning before we did this, and I'm like, okay, well, what do I? That's been a series for me, is to learn how to use the video stuff, put it up with really interesting stuff cameras that pictures I took on my phone. Just I love nature,
Yes.
I love sunsets, I love all that stuff,
Yes.
and just added whatever music it was. Sometimes a little funky blues, sometimes kind of ambient, sometimes it's goofy song. I was working on
But with all these channels, I think you get more business even for like hiring you to help them develop their message or their
He hasn't yet. I was
feel.
getting great numbers on YouTube. I was getting a couple hundred on some of my longer form videos, chopped a bunch of them into shorts. Some of the shorts got 900, and then all of a sudden, it just one week, it just went boom, and it crashed. I'm getting like 40 and 60 at the most. And I don't know if it's because of the way I was producing, or if they figured out, if there's too much disconnect between the ambient and the piano music, or the meditation music and the piano music. I was trying to just filter it into relaxation music and calming music and healing music.
So, so one of the things I do know about, and I'm sure you've heard this, is the stop the scroll factor.
Oh,
Um,
I haven't
when
heard.
people, okay, so when people are on their phone,
Mm-hmm.
right, and you're on YouTube, and you see something, and they see you, oh, what's that? But what made them stop scrolling? What made them stop? And if you look at some of your higher rated or higher viewed
Mm-hmm.
material and think to yourself that question, maybe you'll give you some clues.
Yeah, I probably need to spice up my intros. I know that
Because
thumbnails are
you
really,
can go into the calmer stuff after you grab their attention.
yeah, yeah,
It's not always the first thing.
yeah.
Or you could have like a spicy intro and
Mm-hmm.
say, and now I'm not saying you have to say this, but like, and now for
No,
the
I
next
don't think you
five,
really
and
did.
now for the next 5 seconds, close your eyes, and then for more, go to my channel. Like, like something where you do transition them to stop the scroll, because I got to think if it's someone who's scrolling and it's like a meditation, you don't go, oh, let me stop and listen. I mean, very rarely.
Yeah,
They're in a energy peak of
yeah. That's
what
why.
made them stop.
Yeah, more of the boogie woogie piano stuff would be fun. Just kind of crank it out. But again, I love the healing aspects, and I kind of went for the meditation because if I can do a longer video, I really don't have the processing speed to do too long of a video. The rendering takes forever, but I see guys were doing 8-hour videos and getting huge numbers, and I'm like, okay, well, let me start with 20 minutes, and see what I can do. And I was getting a good response, but then it's like I said, it just fell off. So maybe I should run
Yeah.
some words or something and see what happens with that.
Run some what?
Run some AdWords, do some paid ads to get people to my channel to see if that works.
Yeah, maybe, but I gotta say, just in my own, I mean, and I'm not saying don't do it, but in my own 9 years of being online, I'll tell you that like test and react is a far greater return on your money than to um like use something like don't just go in blind and say, let's see what happens if I put up a, an ad.
Mm.
Because you can, I mean, fritter away so many, oh my God, so much money I
Yeah.
have wasted on
Hmm.
thinking that the ad itself was the answer, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's whatever's an ad that works, whatever that was, is the thing that then you want to fund it with an ad. So
Yeah.
if you see something that worked, you had a lot of views on something, use that for an ad to use that as an ad and not use ads as your experimental ground.
Gotcha. Yeah. That,
Yeah, because I mean, it's a business. It's designed to take your money.
we got to get the ROI out of it. So yeah, this is a good thought for again, what's going to be next and how am I going to make it pay for it? I don't just have like a completely clear transitionary path, but
That's okay. I mean, I do think I'm just gonna recommend everybody. Do you want to play anything for us, or are you done for the
yeah,
day?
good.
I don't know where you're at.
I don't know if what do I have queued up? I have something queued up. What did I work on? I don't know what I've got up. But the idea is that I like writing and I enjoy the collaborative process.
So
I,
that's what I encourage people to do is to reach out to you, just have that
yeah,
session, even to talk about how you can help them enhance their business. I'm gonna do it.
yeah.
So
Oh,
tell me
yeah.
how do I reach out to you? I mean,
I
I
wanted to
know
put a
I can now
page.
text you, but
Yes, right. But I wanted to put a page together. I could put a page together and zap it up. But yeah, let's just talk. Let's just get on the phone and talk. Basically, when I did the ad work before, I would get a basic questionnaire going, and I would find out what's your message, who's your target audience, what medium are we going to go into, and what are some of your styles of music that you really want to have. Again, it's going to be a 60 seconds, it's going to be a 30-second. We know that's going to be a stinger for
this is your TikTok.
yeah.
Hello.
This is your
This is your
15,
TikTok.
and
This
boom.
conversation that you're having right here.
Yeah,
Bam, 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 bam. So how is this helping your music, your business,
yeah. Oh,
your
perfect.
message?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because
That's it.
everyone has a message.
Yeah. Everybody's got a message. And how are you
Everybody
going
has a message. And the music just is gonna I've heard now you enhance the message. So that's what do you have anything that you could share that shows somebody how it enhances the message?
yeah. I will queue up what we had earlier today. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know if it'll come through or not, but we will try. Mm-mm. Now, I don't know if this will play.
We're gonna try it, guys. We don't know how this is gonna
This is live TV, people. Yes. So this again was a mantra that Bree gave me, and we talked about it. I just took it and I ran with it. And I really heard an EDM or an electric dance music, kind of a driving to it. I also gave her another version that was kind of like a synth wave thing, like a
Right.
psychedelic version or a pure thing. And then I just played with it. But I took her tune and I started on the piano right over here. If you can see it. Yeah. So there's my piano. So I just started over here, and did this. And that's all I had. That's all I really needed. And then I
Yeah.
heard the groove in my head, and then I eventually wound up with this, and this is a scratch vocal that I did. So
I love it.
yeah, and then that carried over to just some nice pads with it. Yep, nice little reggae feel, and it was easy to transition that to. I think this was it. Oops, I know where I put it. Never mind. We're gonna keep that going. I'm gonna slip over here. Cool. There's our break. We'll do the DJ fade out. There we go. We got that over here. And then this turned into
Fantastic.
this turned into this cut over here. Comes to me, money 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 comes to me. I'm so lucky, my financial supply is constantly endless. I'm so lucky, my financial supply is constantly immediate. I'm so lucky, my financial supply is inexhaustible. I'm so lucky, I'm so lucky, I'm so lucky, I'm so. Money comes in perfect ways. Money comes to me under perfect grace. Money comes to me in perfect. Everybody say money
Love it.
comes to me under perfect. All right. Grace. Money comes to me. Yes. In confetti bombs. Yeah. Yes. Come to me under perfect grace. Money come to me in perfect. You see how that gets stuck in your client's ear? Yeah. Put that
Oh
message.
yeah.
And then this is the shout chorus where everybody can sing it. Money comes to me, 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 money comes. Woo! Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. See, that goes in your head. That's the ear candy. That's the,
That's what I can do.
yes.
Deliver your message. Yeah.
Because
Uh,
one of the things I always talk about in the morning is charging your energy. And that kind of song, like right there, is the
yep.
perfect song to charge your energy with because, and I'm sure like in as her business, aspects, Bree's using that to, it's amazing. I totally get it. I totally get how this is so beneficial. So I hope everyone watching gets like how you could
Yes.
use this in your own business,
Yeah.
in your own world, something that's you, something
Mhm.
that's with your message.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I
And
love it. I also love that you're reinventing yourself. I mean, I just think that's something that is another underlying thing here, a theme that, yeah, I have all this talent. Now what? Like,
it's, yeah, and I know it works. I absolutely know it works, and I understand the idea of business, but I got to pick my battles now. I don't really have to work, and I just want to work.
no, you want to do something, I think that at least it sounds to me like you want to do something where you're using your energy and your time and your talent towards an end that you feel is like
Really.
helping, giving back, like
And it's
nurturing. And in that you're getting all the goods, the goody, the good feelings and the good and the fulfillment that brings.
yeah, and
Um,
that's really the bottom line because that I do see how music has helped. I've done this off and on for years whenever I was in off the road, and I would go to the seniors and I would play music for the people with memory loss. And I could see how it would work there because that's a very primal instinct that's still in there somewhere. So somebody who may not remember their son who's sitting next to them or remember what they're doing, they will be able to sing the lyrics from 80 years ago like that.
isn't
You
that
know,
amazing?
and it
That's
works.
proof of like how it's our brains, like how it's wired, it's primal, it's instinctual.
Yeah, and so we can
Amazing.
build those connections with ourselves, with our clients. We can build it much quicker, and it brings the joy. It anchors the good feeling that we want to provide with the services we're giving our clients. And for me, that's what it is. I love sharing the music. I love it's out of all the art forms, music is the most social of all of them. So let's share it. Let's bring it out, and we can. We can do it. Look at this. We're talking in New York and Chicago.
I know, I love it. I'm like, let me drop the mic right now. That's the perfect way to end this because you couldn't have said it any better.
Well, I always loved
Perfect.
New York. I always loved popping out to LaGuardia. Delta has a great flight. I used to fly out there for connecting flights all the time. So
Yeah.
I do miss that traveling a little bit, but I don't have to right now. I can just stay here.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I grew up in outside of Chicago in Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah, I was
I
born up.
was when I was little, when I was very little. So I have, but I was watching, I don't know what I was watching, but something, and it was talking about Chicago, and so when you said Chicago, I was like, that's so funny. It's like coming up a lot for me right now. The Chicago keeps being referenced. So there must be some good mojo going on there right now.
Still happening. Yeah, we got some good stuff. And you know, Chicago has like the north side and the south side, and then sort of the west side, but there's no east side because it's the lake. So you have these
Okay.
and then so then Evanston is up north, but Hyde Park is down south. So they're mirrored. We're just like a mirror of each other, you know. And so we have, you know, University of Chicago's down in Hyde Park, and then you've got Northwestern University up in Evanston, and then you know,
Hmm.
and then everybody just kind of from Chicago, they just all move on out from the suburbs and expand. And so I'm out here. It was a COVID move, and I'm totally cool with it. Amber, my wife's parents are getting old, and we're like right down the street, and we can help out with them. I'm like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. But you're in it's still a cultural area. Um,
Oh, it's a cultural wasteland out here. I can't stand
is
it.
it?
What's going on? How do they do it? How do they live in the suburbs? They don't have to get stressed
Oh,
out.
not in the suburbs. I mean, Chicago, the city.
Oh, Chicago's great. Still love
Yeah. No, the suburbs is everything closes by 8 o'clock.
oh, totally. And the choices you have are Applebee's or Cracker Barrel. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's
Come on.
I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I meant Chicago is a cultural
Oh,
mecca. It's not the suburbs.
it's good. We pop in there too. It's like 20 minutes away, so we head on in whenever we can and get some, you know, good Indian food. But, you know, something. And
Yeah.
there's five of everything in Chicago. Whatever you want, you get five of everything. So
Yeah.
this is great, though. It's really nice to meet you. I'm
Well,
enjoying.
it's really nice to meet you too. Let's just wave goodbye to the good people. I'm going to end the recording.
See ya.
Go check out
Oh
Dan.
wait, Muppet Dance. Muppet Dance.